Tag Show. Tag Show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is another episode of the Mixed Tag Show. It's a special edition. We could call this the Thanksgiving Turkey edition with Jenna and
Blue. I had to twist. I had to twist this man's arm because I wanted to record. I understand you a family man. Listen, I get it.
It's a holiday week.
Yeah, my point exactly. I want to talk about this. It's such a hot week. We had a great weekend. I'm invigorated. Like it's
good 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean our weekend that we haven't seen each other in a million years. We finally got to see each other in person. And it was good vibes.
But the reason why I say 2 weeks is because we hosted our first watch along, which was very successful on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like set the tone for the week, and then during the week, like we had a good week, and then we got a chance to link up this weekend, like you said. So that's why I say 2 weeks, because 2 weekends in a row we had a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And that's why we couldn't record episodes, because we were too busy having fun.
Yeah, we're just going to like wrestling events and obviously hosting wrestling things. Just want to give the people content and just get with so many content creators out there that just inspiring both of us. Just like try to keep pace, man.
Definitely. Right? Before we get started, just want to shout out Invictus Pro Wrestling. Shout out to them for letting us come in and hooked us up going in. Had a great show. Shout out to Eel O'Neill. Shout out to Mr. Darius Carter. Shout out to Trisha Dora. Shout out to Gabriel Sky.
Shout out to TK. Yes. Shout out to Sky. Him. We were impressed, my guy.
Yes, we'll be having them on very soon. Shout out to
TKO.
Dang it, I'm trying to save the best for last. Hold on. AJ Gray. Almost got hit because of him, but it was worth it. I'm trying to get that footage. I can show you guys. Shout out to Jay Bougie. We got late. We got there late. We missed him, but he hit me up. Was like, "Yo, that was too late."
I felt bad, but see, I
did too.
I thought that was gonna be in the actual card, not the pre-show.
Right. So that early.
Yeah. So one of my friends who actually went there to support TKO as well, when we were talking, he was like, "Yeah, this was." I was like, "Oh no!" So I'm upset that we wound up missing it.
But we're gonna catch him on the next one. But big shout out to TKO because he had his second match, right?
Yes, his second match. He was a fan favorite. People would chant his name, including his biggest fan. And he
had his own section about us.
Yes, exactly. He had after the show was over, he had a couple of fans just really excited to see him and show him love, including me and Blue. So shout out to TKO. Very, very proud of you. And hopefully we can have him on, put you on pretty soon, so we can dabble a little bit more about his wrestling career.
And also duck when I tell you to duck.
Yes. It's okay. It's a second match.
It's all right. We're working on it.
Superhero. It's fine. We got it. Definitely shout out also to the Jobbeteers and those wrestling girls. Actually, shout out to those wrestling girls on it's their third and anniversary. They were celebrating it. It's so funny just to see we all kind of started at the same time, right?
Yep.
It's just like the universe just said, like, yo, all these people of color, black excellence, Latinos as well, that just we're into wrestling as well, right? So just let's put ourselves out there. And it was just a beautiful thing to witness that the panel that they hosted. I think it was also sponsored by, shout out to Storyline Tees. They're killing it.
Storyline Tees.
Some
good people.
Facts. And it was just a dope thing to see. Like, again, so many people of color, black excellence, Latinos out there representing. representing and just explaining their passion for wrestling and their story in regards to just diversity. So it was just a dope thing to be a part of, just the whole weekend, specifically that Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Black Wrestling. Shout out to a
Black
Black
wrestling
Announce
as well.
Table. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Wrestling
Fan
World.
because
Brian H came up.
Brian H was a blast. Shout out to Fan too because he
He did the
joined
watch
us
party.
the full gear watch party with us. So shout out to him. He was there. Just shout out to everybody. Shout out to Brian H Waters specifically too because he came at me. He came at me and said, "See, now I hit you up. I showed you love. The war is over. The war is over." Brian H Waters.
Definitely a good time, man. Everybody was in there. Shout out to anybody that we don't remember to mention. Shout out to Vinny. Shout out to the panel, like you said. The panel was awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, shout out to that whole weekend. We had fun. That was the first, like, that whole weekend that happened the same night. Invictus and going out with the Black Excellence and Brown homies that's holding it down in the industry, right?
I also have to shout out Justin. His at name on Twitter is the Illest Freakin'. My wrestling weekend continued because you and I both discussed this. I said I was very tired just from just all the things that I did in the week, and then Saturday, obviously, what we did, and I was very on the fence about going to Survivor Series because I was being told, The Rock is going to be there, and we'll discuss that. And
I told you no.
Right. Shout out to Scott. He's the big leader in the Sasha crew. He asked me and said, Are you going to Survivor Series?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have to find a cheap ticket and then I'll go." And then someone else sent me a ticket, and I was like, and then someone interjected, which happened to be Justin. And he's like, "Listen, I got a ticket. It's yours. Just give me this amount of money." It's like basically nothing. I was like, "You know what? Let's do it. Right? Let's do it. It's you're ready on a high. Let's go.
Let's close out the weekend.
And let's close out the weekend." And I did it. So.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the show so that we can get to Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is like the last thing on our list to talk about today.
Yes.
First and foremost, let's talk about these releases. Another set of releases that happened. This time they released the rest of Hit Row. They released John Morrison, Jason Riker. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Riker. Whatever his name is, not important. He's not.
And
important.
that was it, right? That's the only people they released. They didn't release somebody else.
I believe so. Those are the more notable names. And the crazy thing is that it just happened, but it's like everything that has transpired. So not even that it happened so often, but everything that just transpired in the past couple of days. It's just like it seemed like it was literally a few weeks ago, which it technically was because there was another set of releases, but it just seemed like this happened so long ago when in fact this was literally last week, right?
Right.
Oh no, I'm not even last. It was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday. I can't remember.
It was that Thursday. So the other person that was released was Drake Maverick, who had an awesome video to show that. But yeah, it's just the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I felt like it was kind of like they called up Hit Row with no direction. Like first they let go of B-Fab. And from there, it kind of like, all right, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? Hit Row is nothing, like, it's not the same without, B-Fab. And then from there, Top Dollar released this record towards Jinder Mahal after Jinder Mahal did his rap thing on SmackDown, I'm sorry. And then they get released after he had to pull the audio down. The reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like that release, with all those people, Drake Maverick, John Morrison, and even the other guy, there was a save that they didn't want to make it seem like they were just getting rid of Hit Row by themselves. So he kind of like surrounded everybody else around Hit Row, but Hit Row was the target. You know what I'm saying? Because this release wasn't the same as all the other releases. The other releases had at least like 20 names on the list, even if they broke them down in different days. This was just like boom, and then walked away.
Yeah, no, listen. Even outside of that, even if you just say it wasn't strictly because the focus was on Hit Row, regardless, and even if let's say it wasn't because the video that Top Dollar put up, let's just take it for what it is. That they did more releases. It's like, again, you are playing with people's lives. Like I can't see how a job is so volatile where you can lose it at and literally any second. Yes, I understand
Right.
this is business. It happens to the average person. But in this particular situation, if you got rid of B Fab and literally like why didn't you just get rid of Hit Row in its entirety if that was the case? I don't know if it's because you wanted to see how they meshed and how they work, but you can't put a time. You can't say, oh well, in a couple of weeks, let's see what they're capable of, and then that's it. That it just there's no rhyme or reason. Yes, you finally got rid of Writer, whatever his name is. That should have happened a long time ago. And then it's like
Facts.
John Morrison. Poor. It's just like again the mindset is just like yo. I was with you a few years ago, got fired or I left, whatever, made a name for myself somewhere else. And you guys want me back, and then it's like there's nothing that was done. So you had me as
Right.
a sideshow, as a sidekick, as a sideshow act with the Miz, and the Miz goes off to do Dancing with the Stars. So let me do what I have to do. You took all this time in building up Johnny Drip Drip. All right, if that's how we're gonna roll, let me do my thing, or let me do my thing. So when the Miz does come back, we can start a feud and really solidify my character or me um as a single star, right? It's just it doesn't make sense, and I'm going to use the same word I used the last time we discussed it. It just really is inhumane. You were playing with
Yeah.
people's lives,
Before
and
the
at the end of the day,
holidays,
for the holidays, right?
a
For
week
the
before the
holidays,
holidays.
and at the end of the day, you go to bed to sleep, and you're fine. While these people's like, all right, what's my next move? And hopefully, finances are in order for them, for all the people that wind up losing their jobs. But it's just like,
Yeah.
how do you sleep at night? No, it can't be budget cuts. It can't be budget cuts.
They used it as an excuse, but this time around, like I said, the focus was for Hit Row. They didn't like what Top Dollar did, which bothers me because a lot of people mention this. Like Grapsity talked about it with Phil, Regin, and Will. I know True Hills probably talked about it as well. It's like when the person they tell people, the wrestlers, to be themselves on social media and try to, what I'm saying, like to use that as an extra arm of themselves. And the moment that Top Dollar did it, you guys didn't like it, and then y'all let them go. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't even give them a chance. And when Top Dollar and Adonis talk about that day, they were contacted about doing Survivor Series Raw and SmackDown for that weekend. And then it was like, all right, we're just gonna do SmackDown and Raw, or we're just gonna do Survivor Series and Raw. And then they got a third call, it's like, never mind, just don't worry about nothing about the weekend. This is when they knew that, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, something's about to happen. Like that was their day. Like in one day they was told 3 different things before they was let go. You know what I'm saying? Like they talked about it on that on Sirius XM. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. That show.
Busted
Busted,
radio,
yeah,
radio.
Busted Open Radio, yeah. So
Yeah,
they talked about it there. So it's like directly from them telling them what happened that day. And it's just kind of like, so you didn't communicate correctly with them. If you didn't like the song, it's like, hey, you just signed them like a month ago. Like, hey, next time, run that by us before you post it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, contact this person before you put something up on social when you want to tie it into the storyline. Let us
and
okay that.
that's how it should be in just outside of wrestling. That's how it should be in business in general. Let me give me a okay that I can post this or do this before, and then we can, or even if you don't like it, all right, can you reword this or structure this differently so we can then use it? It's just not smart business. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a $1 billion company, so they do what they got to do, but you're playing with people's livelihood. It's
Yeah,
really, really unfortunate. Even I don't
yeah.
think even contract workers work on eggshells like that. Because I've had friends who are contract workers, and it's not a situation where it's like, all right, I don't know if I'm gonna keep my job today, or you know what I mean, or I'm gonna get different phone calls,
Right.
and I'm ultimately gonna lose my job that same day. I got 7,000 calls. Like it just, you can only imagine the anxiety a lot of people, like these people, have to deal with,
Yeah.
or they're going through. But again, it's unfortunate. Hopefully, people get back on their feet and find work elsewhere. Um, it just sucks.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I'm just happy. Honestly, the biggest person that I felt like the biggest L in all of this and no disrespect to anybody else, is definitely Shane Strickland. Because this man, this was
for
his
sure.
dream
For sure.
working for WWE. Like when we went to Wale Mania that year, he was in the hallway. You can see he had just announced he was going to sign with NXT. That boy was excited to go there. And he went there and didn't get a chance to show what he could do at all. Like he did not get a chance to show what he could do. When he got NXT, they gave him the NA title. He had one title defense, and that was the title defense. He had to drop the title before he got called up, because he got called up. And then, like, to me, that's like a wasted opportunity of 2-3 years. But I'm sure he'll be, like you said, that's one of the persons I'm sure is going to land on his feet in the Indies.
Immediately, not even in the Indies. I hate to be the one, oh, well, AEW, but he's just someone that looks like some AEW will go after Impact. That for sure. MLW. He's a known name. It's just, you can go back to MLW. It's just, that's just the name that I know is just, he's going to be picked up instantly. But it just goes, that last point, we can move on because I know we're trying to do a quick episode.
Talk about,
Yeah. It just goes back to how things have changed, right? A lot of people growing up watching wrestling, they were a fanatic of WWE, WWF, grew up watching it, and if they decided that this is what they wanted to do for a living, what was the dream? I want to be a WWF, WWE superstar. And just to finally achieve that dream and to get there, and then it's not what you thought it was, that sucks. That's a hard blow to take, and it's really unfortunate that a lot of dreams get crushed. Take
it a step further. Now, some people in the indie scene, that's not even their dream. Like you're going into a generation where it's not even a dream to be in WWE no more.
Listen, I have friends. I have friends that say, "Listen, I don't want to be in WWE." So
that's a generation that's different.
Yeah,
you're going to a new age.
Yeah, a newer generation that's not the dream anymore. But again, hopefully people get back on their feet. Well, let's talk about. You wanted to discuss a little bit about Full Gear. Not this past
outside
Saturday,
of that pay-per-view. Outside of the pay-per-view being dumb long, shout out again to everybody that was with us on the watch along for Twitter. We had as much fun as well. Shout out to Queen PR. Shout out to Miss Krista B from Those Wrestling Girls. Shout out to Ill Fan for Back Wrestling. They held it down with us for as long as they could. Good. That was a very long pay-per-view. I hope they cut that down.
You already saw me, like you even text me like, "Yo, are you good to?" But I'm glad we thugged it out because
we thugged it out. Everybody in my house fell asleep.
Yeah, you and I thugged it out because let me tell you something, and I'll be the first one to tell you. I know as crazy as it sounds, I respect the hell out of him, Kenny Omega. But I've said this numerous times. I'm just not a big Kenny Omega fan. Not that I don't think he's a great wrestler. He's not a great ring. He's just and that's that it is what it is. But man,
that
match from the video package that they put together.
They never mess with those. They hardly mess with those.
From the whole, Adam Page, riding into Minnesota on a horse and like reliving those memories of him failing in regards to his first title chase. And losing to Jericho and just the whole
and losing his friends,
just the whole thing. And I was like, whoa. So I was already like, it gave me chills, right? And then just that match, it's just, I hate to sound cheesy, but it was just artistic. It was poetic. It was just storytelling at its finest. And this really had me like, oh, I get it with Kenny Omega. This is what had me like, oh, I finally get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just, maybe because when I've watched Kenny Omega matches, it's happened, like, for example, when he's been in New Japan, I just happened to tune into New Japan. It hasn't been like I necessarily know the whole history or the story of the feud. With this, I know the background to it. So the story I was able to piece together as they were putting it together, right? Yeah. And I was just like, it was enough violence. It was just enough selling. Just it was perfect spots, just perfect. And everything. Listen, my hats off to Kenny because I think you pointed it out, and then there was something that I had noticed that you had quoted or or responded to in regards to a video of him getting worked on, a chiropractor, and you pointing out that this man is, first of all, he's been a champion for what, well over a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all the titles he's held, and he's been really going through it. Just to see the agony he was in, and that how the chiropractor had to really get him together, like the techniques and
just
stuff.
for this one match, yeah.
Just for this one match, I was like, you know what? I definitely, like, I respected him before, but I really had to be like, yo, he did the damn thing. He put his body on the line to entertain, and there's a reason why people call him the best wrestler in the world, and he was number one this year, because that right there showed why he got that. He has that accolade.
Yeah, definitely. The way that match was put together was awesome. It gave me chills from the moment that the bell rang, and at the end when Hangman Adam Page won the title, I almost cried. I'm not gonna hold you. Like,
yeah, it was very emotional.
Yeah. The way they sent the Young Bucks out there, the Young Bucks telling him like, "Yeah, this is your shot. This is your moment." And you kind of can see Kenny was just like, well, Kenny is like the perfect villain to the perfect superhero. Like, he gets it. When he sold that the first buckshot, came up for the second, and it was just like, it's happening. Like, it's really happening right now. Just the way they told the story in that match all together, it was just amazing to watch. It wasn't like, I'm not gonna say it was the greatest technical wrestling match or whatever, but the story and the style of the ring played off. It is not needed. It played well together. And in terms of what you said about Kenny Omega, yeah, from 2018, I believe he's been wrestling hurt as champion for AAA and you know, AEW and Impact and all that. This man been in his matches. He's been wrestling with Vertigo since 2018.
Yes.
How do you wrestle with the ring spinning around you?
Yep. And that's no joke. That is no joke.
Right. So think about how many great matches he's given us with Vertigo. There's some people that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just unbelievable. Was watching, like, listen to him list off what he was like, what was hurting and what he was going through since 2018. He deserves a well rested time right now. And
you know what, the beauty of that, not real quickly, it sets up his return, right? Because I think you even mentioned that Adam Cole is not going to be in the background for too long or play second.
They played it on a TV show. They played it on a Dynamite.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It, you know, you called it, and that's literally how it unfolded, right? With the following night, well, not the following night, but that last week, Dynamite, right? How Adam Cole was like, "Don't worry, like I got it," and Kenny was like, Kenny was like, what? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the Bucks. Exactly. So, you know, it was just really just perfect the way it ended, and how it leads for his return and the story that can be told
when they come back.
In his absence. Yeah.
Because Adam Cole definitely said he didn't watch the match, so he didn't see what the Young Bucks did in terms of letting Hangman win. You know what I mean? So he didn't see that his friends helped out. You know what I'm saying? And again, it just plays. This is why part of why I love AEW is because of the long-term storytelling. Like the small things that you see during, like.
Of course, he loves.
Go ahead. Go ahead. This is one of the reasons why the long-term storytelling. We seen this from the costume match that they had when everybody's complaining about the costumes. Nobody was paying attention that freaking Adam Cole and Kenny Omega was tagging each other, and at one point. Adam Cole sent Kenny to the corner to stop them from interfering and did the thing with the Bucks without him. And Kenny just turned around like, I guess, like, they just left me out. Like, it's just small things like that I love, like the play back one. But, definitely, also from the Full Gear, not to stay too long on Full Gear, I just want to talk about two more matches. The first match would be Darby Allin versus MJF. Like, great opener. Like, and MJF went out there with a purpose to show everybody that he's just not the mic, and that he also got the wrestling skills as well. And he talked about it on Dynamite. They showed the backstage clip, and he mentioned that, like, you guys always put the mic in my hand. Don't forget about what I could do in these rings. You know what I mean? So that was a great opener. Match of the year candidate, in my opinion. And of course, I don't know if you had anything to say about, you know, MJF
Darby Allin versus.
You missed that. That was the first match. Remember, we were trying to get everything set up.
No, remember, I was able to watch it. You think that was the match of the night or match of the year candidate?
No. That's definitely was a possible match of the night.
Okay.
And I think it could be a candidate for match of the year. I'm not saying it's the match of the year because to me that's probably like Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson on AEW Dynamite.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be mad at somebody if they mentioned it. Like, I guess, like kind of thing.
Yeah, but you say that, but the tag team match,
Yeah, Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks.
was better than that. No,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be. What I'm saying is I would be mad if somebody mentioned it. Like, maybe tag teams not their style. But I kind of get it, but no, like that kind of thing. That's what I say about that first match. It was pretty good. It was very good. It was better than what a lot of us expected from them too.
Any quick thoughts on Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk? What were your thoughts?
Man, that was a brawl. That's what all it needed to be. People was talking about it's not gonna be that great of a match. The mic work's gonna be good, but what about a match? It was a brawl. That's all it needed to be. And then we got a glimpse of CM Punk being heel. Like now it's like he's gonna be the asshole that he's known to be, type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I came here to do what I need to do. Like fuck all this nice. You know what I'm saying? Kept calling him boy. Kept calling him a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like you saw the pinking at Eddie Kingston, but it was the right way to go because at the end of the day, MJF got to beat CM Punk.
Yeah, listen, and very quickly on that, it's just like I keep asking this question in regards to has the novelty run off in regards to CM Punk? Because again, yeah, we were all hyped to see him return, and the next week, sure, we were all, and he still gets those pops, but again, I keep saying it doesn't necessarily translate into TV viewership, right? And maybe that might be because people are just not interested in wrestling anymore, or for the simple fact that you always bring up that is streaming. That's just the way it is, right? So maybe it's a combination of all these things. But I also think we're kind of tired of, like you said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. Nah, be the asshole that we know you are, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of assholes, I wanted to mention this because it ties into last week's Dynamite. Your boy Bryan Danielson, is he a heel?
I felt like it. It felt like, well, to be honest with you, when you pay attention to the way he's been back, he kind of had this chip on his shoulder. Like, I'm just here to kick niggas' ass. Like, I don't care about being a face or being a heel. I'm just here to kick everybody's head off. And when he beat Miro, to show I'm the best in the world. Like, that's why I left WWE, is to go everywhere else to show you guys that, no, y'all be talking about best in the world. Y'all bring up Kenny Omega. Y'all bring up AJ Styles. Y'all bring up Roman Reigns. Nah, it's me. That's what it came down to. And he's been on point since he's been at AEW, to be honest with you. And his match with Miro was excellent. It ended off very well. And then to see him, now he's going to go against Adam Hangman Page. And it's just like, all right, we're going to go at it when we go at it.
Listen, and then he instantly, like, you said there might have been he's come to AEW with a chip on his shoulder. But last Wednesday, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, the way he was taking digs at Adam, and then the way he was just kind of like go in the crowd in regards to all that, I was like, oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that because, listen, we know Daniel Bryan has played heel and face. Well, ultimately, Bryan Danielson, well, no, even Daniel Bryan, right, is typically a nice guy. Right. So for him to like immediately come into AEW and just be a douchebag, flip bag, very interesting. And it piqued my interest immediately. Like I was already excited. Like, all right, cool. I kind of wanted Miro to win just because of the role he's been on, but the way Bryan switched that, I was like, all right.
So
I want to see what we're doing with that.
I feel like there's two things you can take away from that. One is like, well, I say three. The reason why, again, Bryan Danielson won is because it'll make more sense for Hangman Page to beat a very powerful Bryan Danielson. But overall, two things you can take away from that is that, one, Hangman Page is that over that he got the fans to boo Bryan Danielson. And then two, Bryan Danielson being that much of a vet and understanding of crowds that he picked up on it ASAP and turned up his heelish mode a little bit more just to hurt the crowd more. You know what I'm saying? Like to play more into the crowd's hands of booing him. And what's more better way to get more heat is than to pick off each of the friend of the champion until you get to the champion. Like it's not like they put it in front of you. He's like, no, I'm gonna beat everyone in dark order till I get to you, and we're gonna start tonight with Eva Uno. Like, like to me, that's like he's coming with a chip on his shoulder. Like, nah, I'm gonna show y'all. Like, I'm the best in the world. Yeah. I'm gonna run through your whole crew before I come take that title from you. Even though he's not, but you know.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, it was a really good pay-per-view, minus the fact that it was long. It had some dud.
A couple of matches that didn't need to be in there.
Need to be in there, but that's neither here nor there. Jumping in from one pay-per-view to another, Survivor Series was this past Sunday that I said that I attended. I got on you because I was like, yo, I'm at the show. I need you to participate, but you really wasn't trying to do it.
I told you that I did.
No, listen, I hear you. But
I told you on Saturday, like, I'm not trying to watch it. I warned you not to go.
Yes, but see, but my hair. I don't think Survivor Series was bad. Did you didn't watch the match between, first of all, the match between Becky and Charlotte?
I heard Becky and Charlotte was very good. I'm gonna go back and watch that.
Listen, I said that was their best match since Becky's turn and this whole like separation between the two. I believe that match is better than Evolution. The match that they had at I forget the fact that this Becky was wearing Wanda her gear for and then I forget the Marvel character that Charlotte was wearing. Is it
I found out.
Agatha? So and it was hard hitting, right? Like you can just tell that they don't mess with each other, right? So that was really good. And then the men's match after that wasn't that bad. Listen, and then it's 2021 and Jeff Hardy's over, right? I didn't necessarily care for Seth winning because it's like, why does Seth need a win? So I felt like, okay, there's quite a few storylines that they can go with in regards to Jeff and Sheamus, since they're both on the same brand, which obviously that seems like to be the case, especially Jeff had unfinished business with Austin Theory. But listen, to see Jeff Hardy over and people like really rooting for him, that was dope. It wasn't a bad match. The tag team match with shout out to Randy Orton, because he's that match at Survivor Series made him he has the most matches ever.
Sorry. It was Becky as Scarlet Witch and Charlotte as Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, I said Agatha. Yeah. Whatchamacallit, Randy and that accolade, the match between the Usos was pretty good. But my thing was, I was so antsy because everyone knows I'm a Sasha Mark, so I was ready to see the captain finally freaking win, right? Lead her team to SmackDown, to win, especially since Raw was again winning. And then he just Rock 25, man. It's just like, why are you playing with people's emotions?
Before we get to that, wait. Before we get to that, so here's my point, right? I didn't see Charlotte versus Becky because I didn't plan to watch it. Like, but you made me watch it. But I have to go back to watch it because, to your point, I heard a lot of people saying that was their best match ever. And then with the men's one, I didn't like. Well, Kevin Owens just basically just walked off in side of the bell. Yeah. Huh? So like to me that was cool. Yeah, he's out. Everybody knows that. But that match, I looked at it and it was cool for the most part, but I didn't like the final two. Like you said, one, Seth didn't need to win that, and then two, Jeff didn't need to be put in that position. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like they always do it to Jeff, like put him in a position where everybody wants him to win, and he doesn't win. It kind of reminded me of Daniel Bryan when that whole situation happened. And then from there, the rest of the pay-per-view, I like the tag team was cool from what I saw, but it was just like, all right. Like to me, Survivor Series, right? I look at it as Survivor Series. You gotta remember, Survivor Series is one of my favorite pay-per-views. This was not Survivor Series. Like, by a long shot, this was not Survivor Series. Even the women's match, I didn't like how they made the teammates turn on Sasha.
Terrible.
Like how you made the team turn on Sasha, and then how you have Bianca just decimated the other three. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it was just like they try to give back to Bianca. Like, here's we screwed you over at SummerSlam, but let's make you look good here.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, but it's like we screwed you over at SummerSlam. Let's make you look good here. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it was just that. Like again, Survivor Series has been deteriorating. We talked like me and those wrestling girls talked about it. Survivor Series don't feel like a big four anymore, at all. Mm-hmm. Like the point of Survivor Series is lost. It's not for brand supremacy because most of those people that was fighting for their brands just got there. Mm-hmm. It became bragging rights. What's Survivor Series name? Mm-hmm. And to me, it's just like that's a turnoff. Like if I want to watch Survivor Series, I want to see teams go against each other that actually like each other, not teams that's forced together. That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. No, I agree, and that was we all felt that way in regards specifically the build towards Survivor Series. It's like
no evasions, nothing.
Nothing. And even the last day, it was the only thing was Big E and Roman. But the last time I had hope, and I feel like WWE always has this trend of when they lack in promoting a specific pay-per-view, for some way, somehow, they wind up pulling out a really good show. And that was what was happening on Sunday. Like, I was genuinely entertained Sunday. There was obviously some booking things where I was just like, I'll go into the women's match real quick in a second. But it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. I mean, the last Survivor Series that was lit, obviously, was 2019 when they were in Chicago. I went to that,
NXT.
And that's when NXT, right? But it's just like, my issue with Survivor Series is like, what is the deal? What is Vince's beef towards SmackDown? Because if that's supposed to be the flagship show, the A brand now, why are they constantly losing for years?
You know why? What? Because they wanna because if you look at it, right, even though SmackDown loses all those, first of all, they didn't even keep count this past Sunday. That's how much they didn't even give a fuck. Let's keep it 100. They didn't even keep count. Second of all, they put freaking Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest in the pre-show.
Pre-show when the battle.
So
Royal,
that just diminished.
The battle royal should have been in pre-show.
Oh my gosh! Don't get restart with that battle royal. Like that just diminishes your mid-card title, right? Yeah. And it's just like again, like they don't keep count. And then the best one since 2019. It's just like you got to remember, for you was there. So when you're in arenas, it's different from when you're watching at home. A few people I was watching at home was just like, what the hell? What is this? You know what I mean? It's kind of different when you're in the moment. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like,
well, listen, but again, like you said, for me, it was different being in the arena. It wasn't like, it wasn't, right. I was entertained up until the women's match. And again, it's going to sound like I'm biased because we all know you're a big Sasha fan, but come on, and then I love Bianca. Shout out to Bianca because I got to see her at the cricket meet and greet on Monday.
You didn't tell me you was going, but okay.
I could have sworn I told you I was going, but you wasn't gonna go, so it doesn't even matter.
Nope.
Well, listen.
How you know? You never asked me. I'm pulling you. I'm doing your
right. You got it. That's why I said. That's why you see I'm like.
Okay.
Touche. But I love Bianca dearly, and it goes back to the point that you said in the sense of like, all right, we did this for you at SummerSlam. Let's make this up. Meanwhile, but you got Sasha Banks, who's been holding it down for how many years now? And y'all keep doing the same thing to her, and it looks like, all right, she's gonna have this particular moment, and then it's like, no, because I'm thinking, okay, boom, Raw won the men's match. That means women got to win the SmackDown match. And when you look at the women's, you got to look at the women's team. You got a team of Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Toni Storm, and Shotzi. That looks like a really good team compared to the team that they put together for Raw. So now it's like you remember, like you said, the 3-on-1 with Sasha, she was in the ring. 3 times.
4-on-1.
She got in it. Yeah, she got in the ring. So I don't understand how you was. It was on the ref and bad booking because she legit got into the ring. I understand what you're trying to pull, but then you have to do it a different way because she was in the ring. And for that matter, since we didn't get the SummerSlam match between her and Bianca, the rematch, and then and then I got like bits and pieces of it at Crown Jewel, but this would have been the moment to have to. I really thought it was gonna be Bianca. it was 1-4. Bianca was gonna knock everybody off, and it was gonna be Sasha and Bianca, just like a low key rematch. And I thought Sasha would have went over because Bianca's time as chasing for the title was done with, and Sasha would have had that one that even the score
momentum.
But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. And I get it plays a storyline into like, all right, she still has an unfinished business with Shotzi. Now she can have a feud with Shayna and Natty, and it holds it off till the inevitable match between her and Charlotte. But this is naive thinking. So this is what I'm thinking what the case is. But it's just like, yo, I'm happy, because Bianca has had a hell of a year in regards to the accolades she's has been pulling. But let it be a little bit different. So
she is a survivor, not that way actually.
Yeah.
So this is the point I was making that I got lost on. The reason why Raw kept beating SmackDown was to save the main event for that guy.
Roman to you still not. What do you mean that guy? The chief?
I'm just saying, like,
head of the table?
to me, but it was obvious, like the way they kept letting Raw win is so that they could feel like, okay, Big E got a chance, and it was like, nah.
Yeah. I didn't even think that's how they was even booking it. When I saw the women, I think maybe even the Battle Royal. When I saw that happen, I was like, you know what? It's like, so Roman can pull a promo basically on Friday that I did what I had to do. No one on the roster did what they had to do. Like, I can see a promo being pulled.
Even his family lost.
His cousins, yeah. I'm the only one that was, which that's great. And then the storyline. Can we get into it now?
Yeah.
In regards to The Rock, because the main event was cool too. Shout out to Big E and Roman. But this is me in the crowd. I'm like, all right, 1, 2, 3. I'm like this. Okay, the music starts, and I'm like, all right, because I'm right near like the section where the stage is at. So I'm ready. Like, yo, he's gonna.
A lot of people were.
If you smell, I was ready.
Everybody was waiting on it.
Everybody, obviously.
A lot of people were. Not everybody. A lot of people.
Yeah,
I was waiting on it.
There was a lot of people. There was a lot, whatever. There was a lot of people clearly wearing the Rock's merch, so it was just like,
right.
Like my phone was just like, I was ready. And it didn't happen. It did not happen. And I don't know if you got to see or read what the reasoning behind all of this. So apparently he was indeed supposed to come, like we all thought, because that was the rumor a few months ago. But then scheduling issues occurred in regards to, I guess, him filming, and then the whole vaccination thing in regards to leaving and X, Y, and Z. So that's why The Rock didn't show up now. But they put all this money into promoting Rock 25, I guess, and Red Notice and whatever. So we're going to do this whole grand thing. Like, he's going to be there, but he's not there. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Like a fiddle. That's what they did.
Listen,
they played y'all like a fiddle.
I'm calling out Queen PR and Miss Kristen B. Like, y'all had me going. Y'all had me on your Thirsty Thursdays. Y'all had me going. He's gonna be there, sis. He's gonna be there. Go. He's gonna be there.
Because I was like, don't do it to yourself.
I was perfectly fine. I was perfectly fine staying home. I'm a 31-year-old woman. I can't be out every night. And that's what y'all had me, out every night. I was perfectly fine staying home. And accepting what WWE gave us Sunday. And that man did not show up. Like a damn, where was my clown mask? Where was my clown mask? I left it at home.
Yeah.
You're telling I was mad hype. This is the man that got me into wrestling. Do you hear me? Do you understand? If I could pull you by the shirt, do you understand me? This is the man that got me into wrestling. Like, get off of me. And he ain't show up. I'm like, he's coming. The egg. Like, why y'all the limo? Y'all are playing games with people's lives. They did everything.
That's what I said. They played y'all like a fiddle, and I don't want to hear those scheduling situations.
Y'all going to jail.
Y'all telling me if The Rock really wanted to be there, that he couldn't shoot that day, take a jet, and be there by that night? Y'all tell me that's not possible?
Liking stories. I mean, liking
not even
posts.
a promo video from him though.
Nothing. Like
yo, somebody. I don't know. You see this tweet? Somebody tweeted like, "Yo, Impact got more from The Rock than WWE did for his 25th anniversary."
But you know, my favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin wouldn't have done that. He would have.
Stone Cold would have been there.
It would have been if Brock Lesnar would have went. My King Austin wouldn't have done that.
He just came down. Yo, this joke is wild. I'm sitting here like I'm watching everything play out on Twitter. I'm like, he's not there. Like, I just had this gut feel like he's not. They doing all of this. You think if they was gonna really pull off The Rock, that they would do all this teasing?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
They do this all the time though. Like they tease and then nothing happens.
Come on, man. In the beginning of the month, Rock 25. Come on. Yes. Call me Boo Boo Fool. Call me Boo Boo.
But they do this every time.
It's not
they do this all the time.
No, it's not every time the Rock makes a 25-year anniversary.
I understand that. But when they want to surprise you or they want to give you something good, they don't give you a heads up. They just pull the trigger. Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch, The Rock in the past, Stone Cold in the past. They like, come
this
on.
was perfect. Listen, if The Rock did actually show up, this was perfect. How they did this, it was legit. It was perfect.
Yes, but that's not their style. They did this to pull you in. You know how many more ticket sales they got for Sunday because they thought that people thought The Rock was going to be there?
I only paid $20. I don't care. I only paid $20.
I'm talking about other people.
Hard-earned money.
I'm talking about the other people. Like, you know how many people bought tickets just because they thought The Rock was going to be there? Because the way they bigged it up, and then to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't be surprised if I won't be surprised if he show up on Friday when nobody talks about it. When Roman clowns you guys for thinking that he reminds you that he's the tribal chief, why y'all still waiting on The Rock? And then you hear, if you smell.
Well, why would you do it in a random ass city and not New York? The city that he debuted in.
They're still in New York.
It's not New York. It would probably have to be upstate or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably. I think it's the USB arena because they're there on Monday too.
They're not there for SmackDown. I think they're only there for Raw. Yeah, it's not. They're not there for SmackDown.
That's what I said. I'm not sure, but I know they're there for Raw. I don't know what they asked for SmackDown.
So they're basically still in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all going to jail.
Find out now.
Y'all going.
You going to jail now?
You going to jail. You about to lose your job.
Oh man.
Yeah, they really had me going. So that's why I was like, you are not getting me. You are not getting me to go to Raw.
No.
And I thought about it.
You know what I just thought about?
What?
It's the SmackDown Thanksgiving again. Oh no.
It's not like you're in a Washington, so why are you like, oh no?
It's in Greensboro. It's Greensboro Coliseum Complex. It's there in North Carolina on Friday.
So, but why are you like,
he's not going to be there.
Oh, he's not. No, that's what I'm saying. The Rock will be at.
You're right. LA, I'm not going to watch it.
Miami, or New York. Those are the only three places that I can think of. The Rock will actually show up at a random Raw or SmackDown. But we discussed that pretty much enough. How I'm highly devastated. But one thing I wanted to mention before we discuss Raw. Going back to Becky.
What we talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah. What we talking about? No, go ahead.
Going back to the Becky and Charlotte match. Becky, I don't know if you peeped that they interviewed her after her win, and she was like practically in tears. And I'm like, listen, I don't know if this woman is a current nominee for an Academy Award or this is real life. But she poured her heart out and said, like, this was once I'm paraphrasing, my best friend. That we almost even died together in a car crash, and just to watch the video package that how much hatred that we have for each other, and that we wanted to not just win, but essentially kill each other, right? And it's just like, how did we get to this point? And it was just like, you know what? Damn, is this real? But then I had to think, you know what? Maybe it is a work, because if you're saying she's Scarlet. um, and and Charlotte was Agatha. This was obviously planned, and it wasn't like a coincidence that they happened to dress the way they were dressed, right? So I was just like, damn, Becky really is in her bag. And then also shout out to Becky too, because I don't know if you watched Raw outside of the
I saw
whole
her
fan
promo.
thing.
I saw her promo.
Shout out to her because I'm a New Yorker through and through. I love New York. You can't tell me anything about it, but New York fans really give us a bad rep, right?
It was kind of like that.
During the she got at them in regards to like, oh, you
And
want
I'm
the
saying
latest
like I'm saying
thing.
were they really acting up like that during the women's match?
Yeah, until Sasha and Bianca got in and faced off, it was the wave, and then it was CM Punk, those chants or whatever, and it was just like, yo, come on. But she was right in her promo. You guys want this, you want the hottest new thing, but then when we give you the hottest new thing, yeah, I saw you were doing the wave and all your other nonsense and singing. Shout out to her, she's a real one, you know. And it's again, I guess this can end off the show. You know, I don't know what it is with fans in the sense of entitlement, but it's like, and shout out to the spaces that you and I were both participating in earlier today.
Right.
Someone has said it's become the fan show. Not you're not you would fans are not going to watch the shows anymore. It's like, how can I be a part of the show? How can I get booed or cheered? How can I cause the most, reaction amongst other fans? No one goes.
Right.
It's like I'm in my own storyline, and it's really unfortunate that we have to constantly have these conversations about wrestling fans. And obviously it's also alluding to the fact of the fan that clearly had mental issues, that jumped over the barricade and attacked Seth Rollins. I don't know. What are your thoughts in regards to all of that?
Yeah, I agree. Like, social media has created a era where everybody want to be content creators. Everybody want to be Instagram famous, TikTok famous, whatever you want to call it. And they take these liberties. Like, it's not just in wrestling. I don't want to put that stench on just wrestling. We see it in
And just fan
international
culture in
football.
general.
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
soccer in general. We've seen it in NFL. We've seen
Musicians,
it. We see it in
Hollywood.
the concerts. We recently in a concert we saw somebody. I forgot who was performing. I don't want to say Playboy Cardi or something like that was on stage and a fan jumped on stage with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not just. It's just that everybody's looking for their moment to make it big. Because even when that spaces, people brought up the fact that a lot of these people that do these acts, they later on try to monetize their Twitter, their Instagram, and appearances, and go to WrestlingCom and all this other stuff. And it's up to other fans to be like, nah, I'm not going to promote
This
that.
is not
That's
cool.
not hard work. This is
Yeah.
not cool. Like, this is not how that works. To regards to the guy, to the fan that happened with Seth Rollins, and that situation, again, it looks like I'm not from what his videos looked like from after he got released from the police department. He doesn't seem like he's all there. So you kind of got to look at the
Right.
person that he came with. Like, you have
Yeah.
to not control, but you have to, control. You have to, you know what I'm saying, help that person and make sure that they make the right decisions while they're in there in your care. You know what I'm saying?
And then, and here's another point. This person actually has been plotting this. I don't know if
See,
you Pete that
I seen
you
people
told me
mention it.
in regards he got scammed by someone pretending to be Seth Rollins or whatever. And then just like that, then he had this whole feud in his head, and then thinks he's gonna be.
Right.
It was a lot, and it goes back to what you
He
said.
created. He thinks he's part of. He really thinks that
He
he's part of
created
the
this.
tribal family.
Yeah,
He
he
created his own
created this.
character.
Yep. Yeah,
And he
and it's
he
unfortunate.
said that he was doing it for the family and all that. So that's why I'm like, everybody was jumping on him today on Twitter. I'm like, you have to, like, certain things like that. You got to take your time with. I understand the
Yeah.
conversation about fans. That's
In
definitely
general,
true, from the beach
yeah.
balls and all that stuff. We talked about it for years, like chanting and waves, like just like Becky mentioned, right? But this particular person, people was jumping on the ASAP, and it was just like, you don't know the full story yet. Like, yes, we could watch it, and yeah, that's crazy. We could say, yeah, wow, that's crazy. But we can't go after the individual like, oh, this is a product. Like, I've seen one person. I'm not gonna give promotion to this Twitter. Oh, this is a product of AEW. They're convincing their fans to contact WWE wrestlers. What? Are you supposed to be a podcast? Come on, son. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're right. It just it's a day and age where people just want it's better to have shock value than actually put in
right?
hard work or quality content, and it's unfortunate. But again, shout out to the space that we were in earlier today. You know,
Shout out to
it's
Lola. Shout out
to Alex, because they were the
lovely
ones that host.
Alex.
They were aka Queen of the Ring. They were hosting it, right? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of different minds, whether it was like someone like Phil that was speaking, I spoke, a couple of wrestlers actually spoke, ref spoke, and just all put their 2 cents in regards to this fan culture, and it's just and just people and people's experiences, because even outside of that, you know it's just like a lot of, again, it goes back to the entitlement of, okay, well, damn, I see this person, like, I'm gonna say me, for example. Oh, I see that you're cool with a specific type of wrestler. Let me hit you up and see how I can get close to that wrestler. And it's like, not read the room. Like the more than likely why a lot of wrestlers become cool with different specific fans or whatever is because they respect them as people and understand their boundaries. A lot of people don't understand it, and it's just not wrestling fans. It's just the whole fan mentality or stand mentality that people don't seem to understand. And it's scary because this is why people like Sasha, people like Seth has said, yo, don't come to me at the airport. Don't come to me at hotels. This is my moment where I can be Kobe Lopez. I can be Mercedes, or who, or I can be myself. Let me be myself. The same way we get out of work and we want to unwind, if we dealt with the public, we don't want to deal with it, is the same way these wrestlers, or not even just wrestlers, entertainers feel. Some people are with it. Some people like, yo, let's take a picture. I'll talk to you, whatever. That's cool. But if that's not them, if the other person, let's read the room. And people have to understand that they are human beings. Yes, they signed up for this lifestyle, but they also didn't give away their rights of being a human.
Right. Exactly. I was about to say that. Like, just because you see somebody in a airport doesn't mean like, oh, they you deserve their time because you bought a ticket like 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to acknowledge somebody and thank them for for entertaining you without being right, without being like me personally. I've seen Big Show, like, hey, thanks. I've been watching you for years. I appreciate what you do and keep it moving. That's, what I'm saying? Like, if you want to give them those big ups without trying to put yourself over. You know what I'm saying? Like, can I get a quick picture? Like, no, like, give your recognitions and keep it moving. Like, I always tell the story about how I seen Pete Dunne after War Games. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I knew he was spent and he's getting ready to go see his daughter. I didn't want to go approach him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just kept it in front. Like, yo, that's dope. I see Pete up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people have to stop thinking that everything's about them and they owe you everything. They don't owe you nothing. The moment that they get out that ring, the moment they leave that building, they don't owe you nothing. Unless you're at a WrestleCon or a signing or whatever the case may be, in their own personal time, and that's just for entertainers in general. They don't owe you anything. Yep. Why make you think that they owe you anything? Because you bought a ticket? Like, they did their part by entertaining you.
Like, and that's as far as it goes.
That's all it goes for.
And I'll bring up example. I'm not gonna mention the wrestler's name, but I remember back in 2018 when I went to New Orleans for WrestleMania. It was
It's a WrestleMania.
What? Yeah, for WrestleMania, and on Bourbon Street. Obviously Bourbon Street is like New Orleans is a party city, so everybody's out and about. Wrestlers, fans, regular people, whatever. And there was a Hall of Fame wrestler that was chilling with people, smoking, reefer, right? Having a good time, drinking, or whatever the case might be. Me and a couple friends was like, we were all intoxicated too. Nothing like belligerent, but just like, oh, hey, so-and-so, congratulations, or whatever the case might be. And they were like, I appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Can we take a picture? Nah, whatever. And then I immediately realized, you know what? They're in a compromised situation, right? I'm like, why would I, and it's the personal time. They're vibing with whoever they want to vibe with. So I was like, you know what? I respect it. Congratulations, on whatever. And kept it moving. It's like I can't be mad at that. That's your person. And
Yeah.
plus, what the person was doing might not necessarily looked well if I went and posted it, because that's what fans
Yeah.
do. Well, oh, I met this person. I'm gonna post it,
Yeah.
right? And it's just
Yep.
like, and I said this in the spaces earlier. I don't have an ego where, you know what, that I can't wait online for a meet and greet. That means if I want to meet someone that I'm really vibing with, I love their work, I go to a meet and greet. Until, if that means one day I can be cool with whoever or whatever, then cool. But if that means I gotta go to a meet and greet, I'll go to a meet and greet. And it is typically, I don't want to toot my own horn, but every time I meet someone, I typically wind up vibing with them. I'm not, it's just because I'm a fan, but I also respect you as a person.
Facts. We
But
had these
it goes back
discussions all the time in our chat,
all the
with our
time,
text messages. We're cool with who
all
we're
the
cool
time.
with, and people probably won't know it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You can't always be like, yo, like, again, putting yourself over. Like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean?
Yep. But
They're
listen, at
people.
the end of the day, it goes back to what you said, and I guess we can wrap this up. It goes back to what you said. There's not a lot of people that's wrapped up too tight. Clearly, the fan jumping in. And shout out, listen, before we end this off, shame on WWE and Barclays that you don't have better
Security
security.
was trash,
To
garbage. Fight the guy.
this should have never have
Mature.
happened. This should have never have happened. One, two, God forbid the person has a weapon. Yeah, you can't bring anything in, but what if
Yo,
they break something and want to come and do whatever? And what if it was a woman superstar? Like, there's so many scenarios, worst case scenarios that
could
could
have
have
been
happened, and
so
thank God
worse.
it could have been so much worse. And that's that's disheartening that $1 billion company or $1 billion building doesn't have adequate security to protect these people that are just trying to entertain. One, two, shout out to Seth Rollins, because there's no way in hell that anyone can say, oh well, he should have did this, that, and third. He's the bad guy in the
Yo,
situation.
Chavo Guerrero's trash.
You're a bum. You're a bum for that. I don't care.
Trash.
I don't
He's
care how
trash.
many years you've entertained. If how much money you got in your pockets, I don't care. Whether you hear this or not, whether someone, I don't care. Trash. Because again, outside of the whole, there could have been a possible lawsuit, this, that, and the third. It's just a lot could have went wrong. And Seth had that. He's a professional athlete, as
But I'm
MVP
about to say
said.
that.
You go ahead.
So my thing is like, yeah, like Seth could have handled it
Handle
perfectly
him.
fine. Because one, again, we've later find out that this man is not all there. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then two, Seth had a hold on him and waited till the ref had control of him and let him go. Seth trains MMA. Seth freaking does CrossFit. I'm pretty sure
he bounces.
he's very versatile. He's
about
he can handle himself pretty well. And that's another approach I was going to say is, too, the fan that was heckling freaking Montez. This man is a veteran. Standing next to a jiu-jitsu champion and MVP. Like, what are you doing? Like, I understand you guys drink and get inebriated and think you could do things. But some of you fans need to rethink the way you approach it.
You got to realize, and it goes back to what we said. People, social media and computers and phones, people legitimately hide behind these things and have this like bravado, this sense of like toughness, and you're not about, like, I see it all the time. And then I meet fans who are one way, and then online it's be yourself. Be yourself. You don't have to talk all this. If you don't like someone, you don't like someone. That's fine. It's cool. Don't think you can go head to head with some of these, not some, but any of these athletes that fight for a living. Yes, it's scripted, but they fight for a living, and
they have to train the moves. They have to practice the moves.
And if it's not that, whether it's scripted or they have like an MMA or CrossFit background or jiu-jitsu, whatever, they got hands and feet. Like, what are you talking about? What are we doing? Y'all hide behind barricades again, heckling. Like it's cool, and it's
Yeah.
you look stupid. You look stupid. So I hope
More of the story. More of the story. Think better, choose better, and drink less.
Exactly. Like, yo, if you're a sane person and really can have control of your thoughts, and you don't have any type of mental lapse or issues, be smarter. Relax. They're just trying to entertain you. If you don't like a character, you don't like a character.
Boo.
It's cool. Boo, cheer. That's what you're supposed to do. That's it.
All right, that's the show. Let's just end it here. That's enough.
That's it. I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat.
Head over to Twitch. We got Il O'Neill put you on. We got Darius Lockhart put you on, and now we have Carly Bravo put you on.
Also, shout out to Amber Rodriguez. Exactly.
Amber Rodriguez the week before that. I didn't want to go all the way back. But anyway, yeah. All of those is there.
It's fine.
Go.
It's there. Shout out to Jay Bougie. Whatever. All right.
Twitch.com.
A lot. Go to Twitch. Twitch.com. Subscribe. We need at Miss Jenna Baby at Blue Magic Grind. BAYBE. Go Knicks. Go Warriors. Happy Thanksgiving.
Tag show.